Hey, it's Coach Kathy, and I've lost 150 pounds, and I just bought $250 worth of groceries. Stick around so you can see what I bought. I've been to the St. George Independent, so let's get started. All right, I'm starting off with something that's not really diety, but again, this is going to fall under a 20 out of my 80-20 rule, and that is just a regular taco kit. I love Old El Paso. I love the crunch of these taco shells. I'm only going to eat 1-2 tops, so I don't mind having these once in a while. And I found a lot of 50% offs again today, just like the last time. So I got some awesome Sugar Snap peas for 50% off. I got this nice little snack kit that I was going to dig into at the ferry landing, but I ended up not, for 50% off. Broth is always a big staple, especially when I'm doing my make-ahead meals. You can put that in anything. Oh, I got some beautiful fresh mint. When I saw this, it really inspired me to go Thai, and I'm going to be doing some fresh Thai spring rolls soon, which I love, which require iceberg lettuce, and so do my tacos. So I got that for 50% off, and it's great. There's not a thing wrong with it. You know I love a bargain. And I got these yummy Maseretti dips for 50% off, and these are going to go together and be a snack later probably. And I got a beautiful mango to go in my Thai spring roll wraps too. And keep in mind, mango's a little bit carbier, but a little goes a long way. It's a very strong flavor and it doesn't require much, so I don't mind using it. Another broth, 2 things of mushrooms. Mushrooms are an awesome filler, especially when you're trying to be low carb, and meat's expensive, and these kind of had a meaty flavor to them and a meaty texture, and they just can kind of bulk up some pork or some beef and make it go a little further. And these are going to be used 6 ways to Sunday. Got a pepper for a beautiful red crunch with my Thai spring rolls, and I put limes on almost everything. If I'm not using the zest, I'm using the juice, or the juice and zest together, but they're very different than a lemon. If you think you don't like lime, maybe try it again and try the zest too, but they're just so fragrant and exotic. I like them with Mexican food. I like them with Thai food. I like them with Indian food. They're just really fabulous. And for a big change up, sometime try limeade instead of lemonade. My husband does not like plain water at all. So, to keep the peace and to keep the marriage together, I buy him Mio. He's going to get a big kick out of that. These are called pristine seedless grapes. These were my snack for today already. And guys, they are humongous. They were $3.99 a pound, so a little pricey. But I mean, they're the size of my thumb, and they are snappy. I'm not even going to bite into it because you'd hear me crunching in it on the video for about 10 minutes. I got some cilantro, which I also need to go with my Thai spring rolls. This was an excellent find. Not all olive oil is created equal. You always want to turn the bottle over. You want to look for ingredients, number one, because sometimes if it just contains olive oil, then they can call the whole thing olive oil. And clearly it's not. This was made, it's not Italian, so that is, or Greek, which is a little bit of a bummer. However, this is a product of Morocco, which still has olives naturally. So, if they're grown in their own element, that's fine. And the only ingredient in this is first cold press. That's important too. First cold press extra virgin olive oil. This whole thing was only $10.99 on sale, and that is amazing. Where this is a little bit of a smaller grocery store, I don't always expect to find specialty items, but these were 2 for $8. That's a great deal. This is Lily's no sugar added, diabetic friendly, keto friendly, everything. And this is the milk chocolate with caramel, salted caramel. I cannot wait to have a couple of squares of that with a cup of tea later. And I got some coconut milk. And this kind is the one that when it's cold, if you remember, it has like a solid plug of fat on it, but that's exactly what you want if you're making curries or if you're going to make something called frosting shots. I'll probably do a video on that later, but they're a very tasty, sweet alternative for dessert. I got a can of corn because I throw that in with a lot of my Thai foods. And I got an avocado to also go in my Thai roll-ups. They have a ton of ingredients, you guys, but they're so good. It's totally worth it. Now, moving on, you'll see this big bad boy is filled to the brim with meat because it was all on sale again. And I have a deep freeze. I have a couple of deep freeze over in our business shop. So if I see meat that I know we're going to eat and it's on sale, you can bet I'm buying it. So I'll try to get this in the shot here. And you might notice in the background, my Christmas decorations are up. I had thought about even doing a little house tour so you could see my Christmas decorations. So, you know I love these salads, 50% off. I can use these as a salad or I can use them as a stir fry. I can do crack slaw recipes. These can go in a bunch of different Thai things. And one of them I might even use because of the purple cabbage. I might put it in my spring roll wraps too. And guys, if you don't want to waste the carbs on one of the rice paper wraps of the spring roll wraps, just do everything and do it as a protein bowl or as a salad. You don't need the wraps. So these were brand new. I've never seen these before. They're 30% off and they are whiskey and black pepper marinated meatballs. I work smarter, not harder. If this is ingredients that are not going to add to the carb count, then I'm going to let them do the work for me. And I can season and adjust as needed, but you know, chances are this is just going to have some garlic powder, maybe some barbecue dry rub, and definitely some black pepper and whatever whiskey flavoring is. I'm assuming that's coming from the barbecue sauce, but I can smell them even through the package and they smell really good. So those would be great for meatball subs. They would be great just to have meatballs as a side dish for something. And you could probably even do your Swedish meatballs with these too. And I love using this pork. It's already cut up for me. Work smarter, not harder. That was 30% off. This was a super exciting find. This was marinated strip loin steak. And these were $6.50 each and then marked down 30% off of that. Just pop these guys in the freezer the minute you get home. Don't think like, oh, I might not cook it today. Just freeze it and thaw it. You're crazy to not take advantage of sales like this. Unless you're a millionaire and then, you know, good luck with that. You're probably not watching this channel. I got some fresh cranberries. I really like adding these to my low carb muffin mix. That muffin mix is universal. You can make lemon poppy seed. I like doing a cranberry orange one or a cranberry white chocolate one. But there's just a nice fresh bite with those cranberries. Like it's nothing that you could ever substitute canned for, but you could substitute frozen if they're unsweetened. This is my favorite yogurt in the whole world. I love the Liberty Extra Creamy. The mouthfeel on this, if you're not a fan of Greek yogurt because you find it sits too heavy in your stomach, or if it's just too heavy and you miss that silky creaminess, this is the one to get, guys. This is 5% milk fat because you know I ain't buying any fat-free dairy. And it has 6 grams of carbs, which is standard for any plain yogurt. This is not sweetened at all. There's no sugar, and it still has 15 grams of protein. So this guy's my favorite. It's sometimes hard to find. I was really surprised to find it today at a smaller grocery store, but that's why you always want to keep your eye open because you never know what you're going to find. I got some chicken tenders for 30% off, and regular price $10. So I paid $7 for these. Now, these do have that little white membrane, and so that stops a lot of people from buying this, but this is good white breast meat, guys. All you have to do is take one of the tenders and hold it with a paper towel and pull, and you'll be able to pull that little membrane that's in the middle out because that's really chewy. It's a pretty strong tendon. You don't want to eat it. That is not good eats, but all you have to do is just pull it off, and if you grab the end with a paper towel, it won't be slippery, and you can do it very easily. Just like the meatballs, I got some of the whiskey pepper burgers. Chris really, really likes having burgers. He likes to just pop them right in our Ninja air fryer. And I like it too because then I don't have to cook. So it's kind of a nice one. And there was a few of those. So I got those, a couple of them. And this was a great buy. Beef is crazy expensive now, and it's just getting worse. And so when I can find extra lean at 30% off, this would have been $20 regular, but I was able to get it 30% off. So that's kind of a treat. And I don't always care if I have extra lean. It kind of depends on what I'm doing it with. If I'm going to make burgers or want to keep, or a meatloaf, I don't want a really fatty cut because the fat is just going to kind of go away and you're left with these little pucks and sometimes they burn. But if it's good, this is going to go in a meatloaf. And if I'm having a meatloaf, I'm getting lean or extra lean, definitely 85% fat or above. But if it is tacos or a hamburger, like a hamburger-based tomato sauce or like a spaghetti sauce, that's what I'm trying to say, you know, or a chili, I actually like the flavor and fat of a lesser meat. So, and sometimes I'll do like half hamburger, half ground pork too, just to get more flavor. So it's not that I'm buying extra lean because I'm fearing the fat, because I absolutely do not. There's nothing wrong with that fat. but it's more just what are you using it for. So again, some plain burgers for Chris. These did the work for me, 30% off. They can go right in the freezer like that. If you don't have a vacuum sealer, I do, so I probably will vacuum seal it because this is a lot of meat. You might not get to this for a little while. If you're going to be eating this within the month, then you don't really need to worry about vacuum sealing too much. But if it's going to be beyond that, just for freshness, you really want to, or at least take it out of this package and put it into like a Ziploc freezer bag or something. Oh, this is so exciting too. Bocconcini. I love these little baby balls of mozzarella. I just like plopping 2 or 3, if I'm having something like those veggies and dip, or if I'm making a personal pan pizza, then this is that nice stretchy gooey mozzarella, which I love. And it's usually very expensive. So if it's 50% off and I see it, it comes home with me. Bacon was 30% off. Again, that's another very high ticket item. I'm not fussy with my bacon. I find the no name is totally fine. And this was $5.99 on sale, and then it was 30% off of that. So that's a great buy because I've seen bacon sometimes $10 a pound now. And we have more burgers for Chris. This was a great find. This was just some nice pork chops. Sometimes I like a fast fry pork chop, especially if I'm just going to use some keto shake and bake on it or something. Sorry, my meat tower is falling. But if I'm going to roast these in the oven and I really want to like slow roast them with some sage and rosemary and maybe some savory butter on top, I really like having a good fat cap, and I also like to have bone in. The bone and the fat is where the flavor is, guys. Do not fear either one of those. The only disadvantage of bone in is it just takes a little bit longer to cook. But if you have time to put this in the slow cooker or to just slow cook it in the oven, then you're fine. And this was definitely an exciting find. We got 3 T-bone steaks. 30% off of, they had been marked down to $9.64. So that was a really good buy. These definitely need to be cooked today or tomorrow, but on our Ninja Foodie grill, that tastes just as good as if it came right off a charcoal grill. Well, I'd say 90% is good. You don't get the smoke flavor totally, but you do get the grill marks, and you get that hot, fast sear, which locks the juices in. And then these were on sale. These looked great. I got 2 different flavors. Chris absolutely loves sausages. I could take or leave it since having surgery, but I find I do better with these pre-cooked sausages than like loose crumbled sausage. So these are called street cart sausages, and I thought they'd be great with peppers and onions, and we do have some keto buns that would go good in this. So there's the cheddar cheese flavor, which I prefer like a cheddar smoky like these, but Chris really likes the regular brat, so I got him the regular. So these were 30% off of $6, I believe. And last but not least, because we're making those Red Lobster biscuits all the time, and also chaffles, which I'll show you how to make. So we always need mozzarella cheese and cheddar cheese. They're kind of our bread, if you will, because they just go in so many, if you do the Fathead pizza dough, or if you do chaffles, or if you do the Red Lobster biscuit, Cheddar Bay biscuit switch out recipe that I've shown before. So anyways, grand total for all of this, I had my receipt somewhere. Yes, okay. Oh, and I also did get 16 chicken wings and a side salad for Chris, and I dropped that off to him on the ferry for his lunch. So that's also included in this total. Grand total is $243. So, I mean, that's not chump change, but it's just the 2 of us, and this is going to feed us for a long time. This is a lot of meat, and I guess if I'm going to be spending that kind of money, it's going to be going towards meat. So many of you want to see products, like show me what you eat, show me what you get in the aisles. The place you want to be focusing on is the grocery store perimeter. That's where I do 90% of my shopping. I'll walk into the aisles a little bit to get olive oil or to get broth or maybe some canned vegetables. But, guys, the bulk of your shopping should be fresh produce and fresh or frozen meat. And don't get hung up on all of these pre-packaged things. And on that note, I actually just got this book because it's being recommended by a lot of colleagues of mine in the weight loss coaching world. And it's called Ultra Processed People. And this is one of the Amazon bestsellers right now. It says an astonishingly well-researched book on the plague that most of us aren't even thinking about it. Read it and fight back. So this is all about the dangers of ultra-processed food and what it does to us and what it can even do to our DNA. So I'm going to give this a read. This came in the mail, and I've got lots of vacuum sealing to do. So thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Make sure you hit like and subscribe if you like more of this content.